I never let my girlfriend forget the most memorable thing she did to me. Part 4. Hi everyone, welcome back to another Reddit cheating story. Before we start, please hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell so you won't miss another cheating story goes live. Now I'm married almost 2 years to a woman who is sober, and man do I have a good life. I have a dream job and a dream marriage. Thank you everyone who read this. Sorry if it wasn't well written. I never write like this, but I have never told the full story in detail before, and I got a lot out of writing it. Mostly what I hope to get from this is to share my experiences doing horrible things but feeling an immense satisfying feeling from it where it's almost addictive. And morphing from generally a good person to a relatively dark evil one. Obviously people have dark moments, but I feel like my personality and psyche has never been the same since that experience. I'm looking forward to any responses to the people willing to read this shit. Edit 1. One of the most common questions I've been getting is, have you apologized or talked to Lisa since the events in this story? The answer is no. Not yet. I am planning on it though. She's on a long list of amends I have been making for years. It looks like he'll be back in her city sometime next year. And he'll reach out to her then. I know a lot of you are telling me not to, but I have spoken to my sponsor, my therapist, and mentors about this, and the decision is to apologize for my actions, and I agree it needs to be done. Also a lot of comments where people are completely missing the point of narrative of the story and feel the need to try and be my therapist or something and tell how I should have done this or that almost a decade ago, which was not the point. It's obviously horrible how I reacted. That's not what this was about. This was about reflection without bias. And as I mentioned in my post, I have gotten into dating again since that relationship with Lisa many years ago. And most of my girlfriends and relationships after Lisa were good, but with one of them I got cheated again in an even more horrific way. And was significantly more traumatizing than this story I wrote with Lisa, but I had learned from the experience with Lisa and rather didn't take revenge and just walked away. That's when I finally got sober, and it led to the life I have now. And I'm considering writing a post illustrating that story because I actually end up doing the healthier thing even though I was hurt even more than with Lisa. The thing that totally shocked me and honestly filled my heart with empathy is the sheer number of men who reached out to me on here sharing their own stories of infidelity and drug abuse, either asking for advice or just to share their own emotions and stories, and I felt connected to people dealing with the things I did back then, and it was so fulfilling to have the opportunity to help these men deal with their trauma in healthier ways than I originally did. But thank you all for your responses as much as they vary. But generally I think all arguments made below have an element of truth. Update end. Here are some of the best comments from our community. Damn, I was really disgusted with her having unprotected sex with every male in the book while in a relationship, but damn, your revenge was so toxic. I really hope you can trust your wife now and don't go to extremes. Cheers. Dude. I think you did an amazing job of trying to show both sides. And that was some nuclear shit. But I am so happy to hear how you talk about it. You can see, read, how much you've changed and how you finally dealt with all your emotions. It seems like you are in a much better place, which I know isn't easy. Way to go. Really. It's interesting to read this revenge, as I don't think I've read one yet that both sides of the situation as you've tried to, and I think that alone deserves some praise. I hope that Lisa learned and grew as you did in a more positive light, as naive as that sounds. Dude, holy shit. I can understand being upset over getting cheated on. I have had multiple partners be unfaithful. That was just straight up cruel to do to her. Like, I wouldn't care if my last ex died, but damn, I wouldn't constantly jump at any little opportunity to make his life a living hell. Sure, it might be fun, but goddamn, that was excessive. The revenge is so evil that it almost sounds fake. Not gonna say it because people can be pretty crazy and not like you said you can fly. How TF is most of Lisa's friends and Lisa so thirsty and unloyal? I understand one or two of them being a little bit horny and insensitive, but damn, basically the whole team. I don't think the drama would have hurt the team's chances at ranking high, but the fact that they spend so much time looking for guys. I also can't believe they let you keep some stuff after finding out you're sleeping with them all. That shit costs money. Here is the second story. I'm divorcing my wife for infidelity and my kids hate me for it. My wife and I have been together for 18 years. We had our ups and downs, but overall our marriage has been solid and she was my best friend. We've always been very close with our children and have raised them very much as a unit, and in turn they're very close to us. About 2 weeks ago I brought up an advice column in the paper I had read regarding infidelity and talked about it for a bit, and I could see she had clearly started to tear up and was attempting to hide it, so I asked her what was bothering her. She confessed that about 7 years ago she cheated on me with a former coworker on a business trip, and then once with him after that before breaking it off due to guilt. This was around the time she left that job for a new one, which she had told me back then was due to feeling like it wasn't a good fit, but now confesses it was because she didn't want to work with him anymore. She says she never had a good reason for it, she knew it was wrong then but gave into the urge and nothing has ever happened since. Claims she confessed now as she can't live with the guilt of hiding it from me. We talked about the next 3 days when the kids were in school while trying our best not to let them know while they were home. I realized I knew I'd never be able to let this go, nor would I be able to forgive her. She's distraught. We sat our kids down to tell them about the fact our marriage was ending. Obviously this was extremely tough. They acted as one could expect and blame was thrown at both of us. My wife and I agreed to tell them it was mutual, but I guess guilt got the better of her again because she ended up crying and telling them not to blame me, that she betrayed my trust in the past and just told me now, and that it's all her fault. This had the opposite effect that she intended, and now both our kids absolutely resent me for not forgiving mom and ruining our family. My wife has repeatedly tried to put blame back on herself, which only makes the kids double down and defend her more as if she's the victim. I don't want to drag their mother through the mud, so I'm trying to explain as tactfully as I can. But they're gone as far as saying that when I get my own apartment they don't want to see me anymore and refuse my suggestion of seeing a therapist together and reject the idea that I still plan to see them on a regular basis and be on good terms with their mother. My wife isn't helping matters as she's been an emotional wreck since I've told her of my plan to leave. I love my kids, but I don't know how to make them understand this without dragging their mother through the mud. I don't know how to assure them this has nothing to do with them or that I'm not trying to punish or hurt their mom. I just know that I cannot get past this, and for my own happiness I need to leave. Any suggestions on how to get them to stop seeing me as the villain would be helpful. Here are some of the best comments from our community. It's such a tough situation because as kids being loved unconditionally by their parents and vice versa, it's so hard for them to see that your love for their mother is actually conditional. It's going to take a while for the sting to dissipate for everyone involved. Just stay level-headed around them and always reassure them of your love for them, even when you feel like they're hating you. I'm sorry that you are faced with this. I know it is very painful right now, but I am sure your kids will get over their anger toward you. You sound like a father who is trying to handle this in the best way for the kids. They will see that eventually. My sisters hated my mother when she left my father. Long story short, they have a great relationship with her now. And not with my father. All due to his actions throughout the divorce process. Keep handling this maturely and with the kids in mind and they will be fine. Divorce is always tough, brother. The kids may understand the older they get, but you know that infidelity is just more than breaking up with a girl or boyfriend. You forge a life together and that life comes with certain unspoken expectations, fidelity being number one with a bullet. You're not wrong here. Thank you for watching and don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell for any future cheating stories.